Hey everybody, it's Jeremy with Photos by Jeremy. Today I wanted to take you through my work process as I build my son Cody's birthday invitation. He's having his birthday party at a VR place, and he wants his theme to be kind of like the Black Ops, SWAT, Call of Duty kind of theme. So I'm going to build it from scratch. I'm going to take you guys step by step through this. So let's get going. So first off, we're going to start off with our template. So I'm going to go New. And we're going to be making 5x7 cards. So you can actually go right up here to Photo, and it will show you like 7x5. Click on that. We're going to go landscape, not portrait. The background is going to be black. I'm going to hit 300. That's good, that's good, that's good. We're going to create. So here is our 5x7 card. And first we're going to build the background. I haven't shot Cody yet with his like gaming gear on and whatnot, but I have an idea behind it. So let's get started with putting in the with the elements. So let's actually open up all of the elements here. So you can see I have like a black couch, I have some SWAT members, and I have like a wood floor and like a grunge background. I use this a lot in a lot of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and open up all of these because we're going to do some cutting and pasting. Alright, so this is the grunge floor and the background. Like I said, I use this a lot. So what I've done here is I've kind of just not masked, but I actually used my eraser tool at a very low opacity, and I kind of got rid of that so it will blend it more into this kind of background. But this is all going to get very dark very quick. Well, I wouldn't say very quick. This will take a little bit. So we're going to start with moving our floor. So I'm going to make sure that's selected. We have our move tool. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to drop this onto our 5x7. And you're going to see it's massive. So Control T. And then Command 0 so I can see it all. And then we're going to bring it in a little bit. Ooh. Maybe a little bit more. Straight to the edges. I want to show some depth because the idea behind this is Cody's going to be sitting on the couch. We'll have some SWAT members back here. There'll be some light. There'll be smoke. It'll be cool. So that's there. Let's bring in the grunge background, which is going to be super huge too. Yeah. Needs to go behind, so I just moved it behind. But again, we're going to have to pre-transform that so that we can size it properly. So again, Command T and Command 0 so that I can see my binding boxes. And then I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. And then I'm just going to play with it a little bit. I think that works. Yep, a little bit. No, I want some of that smoke down onto that to kind of hide that a little bit. Yeah, I kind of like that. Alright, so we're off to a good start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group these. So I'm going to go Shift, click, group. Let me unlock that one first. Shift, click, group. I'm going to go background elements. I do this because I end up with a lot of layers, and this will help me kind of isolate what I'm doing. So the next thing, so I can close this out. I don't need it open. I don't need to save that. So here are some of our guys. Pretty cool, right? So we have to cut these guys out. So we have to get rid of all this white. When they're shot on white or a solid color that's not really close to the color they are, it's a lot easier to do and isolate. So let's start with these guys because these ones are pretty cool. I'm going to my magic wand. I'm going to click on all the white. You see that? Probably not. You can see little marching ants all around these guys. This is the technique I'm going to use for this particular picture, because I didn't shoot them on green screen, is with the magic wand. But first, I've got to duplicate that layer, Command J, close that one out. Now do my wand select. All right, I'm going to hit my quick mask because I want to make sure that there's areas I haven't missed, and there are areas I haven't missed, or I have missed. I'm sorry, not have been, have missed. See the white here, the white here, the white there. So I need to be making sure that I'm selecting these as well. And because they're inside my constrained area, I have to hit Option, which if you see, it turns the plus on my magic wand to a minus, and I'm going to click that. Here we go, and that, and that. Let's see, is there any other little areas? There's going to be a bunch of them. Whoa. There's one there, one there, one there, one there. Be careful when you click into, because if you click on the wrong thing, you're going to select a lot of different colors that you really don't want to select, because that's what the magic wand tool does. It grabs whatever color, so it's looking for all the white, this color, and it's going to select it within that given area. Alright, so let me zoom out here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit delete. Boop. Now this is a very easy way. Now when I shoot green screen, I have actions up here that I use. A lot of my workflow is all done up in actions because it makes things a lot faster with the high volume of work that I do. I have this amazing green screen extraction tool that I got from Shark Photography. He's a genius when it comes to some of this stuff, and he made this extraction. It makes removing people from green screen a little easier. There's a lot of cleanup you got to do, but with this white, you see how quick, simple, and easy that was? So they're ready to go. So now I can hit Command D to deselect, and now I need to grab my first guy, and because there's all three of these guys and I don't want to drop them in there together, I want to kind of place them separately, I'm going to use my lasso tool, and then, my tablet ready here, I'm going to just, we'll start with, I think, this guy. I'm just going to make an outline around him. Very, very crude. It doesn't have to be like super crazy. Go back to my move tool and watch. I'll be able to move him. And I'm going to drag him right up to my file. Now he's going to be super huge. We're going to name this SWAT 1. Okay. Command T. I'm going to shrink him down a little bit. So perspective is big here, because so the further back they are, the smaller they are. All right, but we'll put that all together in just a moment. So there's number 1. So let me hit Command D. Back to my lasso tool. Grab the second one. There we go. Move tool, grab him, move him over, drop him in. This is going to be SWAT 2. And then let's come back and grab the last guy. Hold on. I gotta go Command D because I grabbed him too. I don't want him. I just want this guy, which is essentially the same guy. Different positions. Move him, drop him in. It's going to be SWAT 3. So you notice how these are stacking, and it layers it all out. So anything that's on the bottom is going to be behind. So this is behind, and it works its all the way up to the foreground. So you can see this guy is behind this guy. See that? You can cover him up. And then this guy is in front of him. So let's go and get this guy proportioned. Trim that a little bit. Make him a little taller. Select our layer. Redo this guy. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I'm going to. I think they're going to be behind a couch. So I think I'm going to put the couch here. So they're kind of coming. I might move this guy off to the side so you can kind of see his legs and whatnot. But there's going to be a black couch here, and my son is going to be sitting right in the middle of that couch. So I need to make sure. Yeah, those all look good. All right, so that's good. I can close that out. I don't need to save it. Now I have these guys too. In the event that I need something different, we'll leave those up there for now. Here's our black couch. These ones, see how it's all different tones? Now watch, if I use my, see what it selects? It selects all those same tones. So this one, I'm not going to be able to use my magic wand as much. I can do like the select and mask, but maybe I'm not going to do that. So again, I'm going to do Command J, because I don't like to destroy that background. And what I'm going to use is my pen tool. Because this is going to be pretty straightforward. The pen tool, once you learn how to use it, is an amazing tool. Takes a little finesse. I don't think I want these. Those are kind of bright, and it's going to bring people's eye when they're looking at the photo away, and I don't want to burn those down. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to click and hold, because now I need to get that corner. I'm going to adjust my corner, and then I'm going to bring this in a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to click. 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 Okay, so remember, when you get to these rounded parts, stop at the base of the round, and then when you go to the top, push and click. That way you can expand it out, and then Option, and bring that handle back in. Oh, that didn't work out. So let me go back a little bit. There we go. Let me try this again. Click, push, click. Get that rounded part. There we go. Now I can go Option, bring that handle back in. Good. Click. And I can pretty much go, I think, straight up. Yeah, I'll go straight up. Again, push, click. Option, back, click, click, click. Again, this is going to be a very rude cutout. I'm not really crazy about taking perfect time on it. because remember on corners and stuff, stop a little bit short, and you know, I can blend a lot of this in. Click, push, pull, adjust. Try that again, push, click, adjust. Here, and you know, I can move. I can adjust these after, so it's not so hard to do after. A little lump there, but you're not going to see this. This is going to be covered in smoke, so I'm not as concerned. Now, if I was doing where you're going to see all the edges of this and there wasn't any smoke, or it wasn't going to be kind of a dark, gritty scene, I would probably be a lot more careful when it came to, I keep doing that, when it came to, don't let go of option until you're done here. Let go of, then go. There we go. All right, bring it right out to here. I'm gonna bring this straight across, right back here. Once we get back to the beginning, you see on my pen it turns to a 0. Ooh, what just happened? There we go. All right, so there's my path that I just drew. Pretty crude, but you know, it's gonna do the trick. I want my path, and I want to make a selection. So I'm going to click on selection. I don't want it feathered. If you feathered it, this would kind of gradient out, and it'd get, you know, sharp to like soft. I don't want to do that, and I want it to be a new selection. So I hit OK, and boom, there's my little marching ants. Now what I can do here, if I really wanted to refine it, I could click on any of my selection tools, and I could go to select and mask. So we hit select and mask. It's going to bring open Photoshop select and mask stuff. I have it on onion skin. I guess that didn't really work, did it? Cancel. Oh, because it's the full thing. Never mind. I'm just going to hit Command J. I'm not too worried about that. I can rough it up after. Boom. Watch this. What do we have? We have a pretty decent looking couch. Right? All right. So we're going to take that layer up top here. We're going to name it couch. Did I spell that right? Couch, maybe? I don't know. And we're going to drag that right onto our layer. And we're going to drop it right here. Now, boom! So you notice he popped out because the couch was behind him. I think I want the couch in front of all of them. So Command T again. Bring this right down. Now you got to think about a couch and the size of the couch in reference to these guys. So there's the couch. So we have the couch. We have our 3 guys. We have our crazy wood floor. There's some craziness in the background. I'm actually thinking. Yeah, I actually don't think I like the brightness of that grungy background. So I'm just going to keep it closed out. And then what I'll end up doing is adding just some smoke or something. Because remember, I've still got to put some, text on here too. I got to keep that in mind too. So right now, let's darken up this floor. I'm going to do that by curves there. And I'm going to attach it just to that layer. So I'm going to hold Option and go in between the two layers until you see that little design there. I'm going to click that. So now that clips it just to the wooden floor. So if you watch, just the floor is getting dark or lighter. Darken that floor up a little bit because you see the light is here in the center. Yeah, I like that. Alright, so again, I'm going to go Shift here. I'm going to put those into a group. Call those SWAT Team. Couch has its own group. Probably going to bring that down a little bit too. The thing about compositing, guys, is there's specific rules that you need to follow in order to make it look realistic. Right now, this doesn't look very realistic. You see a couch which appears to be floating on a wooden floor with some dudes behind it. Okay? So what we need to do to lock this all in is underneath this couch, we need to create shadows. Shadow. I'm actually going to write couch shadow. So we need to create a shadow, because if you remember back here, is it this one? Yeah. If you remember back here, there's a shadow here on that gray floor, but there was also these legs which created a dark space underneath. Well, I got rid of those legs, so now the couch is sitting flat on the floor. So it is going to give a little bit of a shadow, but not as much. So now we got to kind of recreate that. We're going to do that by selecting our black color, going to our brush. We want a nice wow, this is running super slow today. I am backing up my entire desktop to my cloud, so it's running a little slow. Like super slow. Try that again, huh? There we go. Soft round. This one I like. Works pretty good. If you want to refine your brush, you can bring it over here. So you can kind of see how it has the shape dynamics. I don't like the shape dynamics because I use a tablet and it likes to start off and it goes by pressure. So it's really tiny as I'm touching light, and as I push hard it gets wide. I don't like that. I like to have it just like this. And I like the spacing to be like nothing. I want the fullness of my brush. All right, that's good. So let's click on that. Close this out. Let's zoom in here. So any part of a shadow that you're going to be using, you got to understand there's a edge shadow, and then there's like the shadow that creeps out. So the edge shadow, you're going to want it to be dark. Okay? So that one here, we're going to start to create, as I paint, you'll see that edge shadow. There we go. And to speed this up, because it's a straight edge, I can push, hold Shift, and click way over here. Well, that was a little deep, although I actually like that. Let me do that again. Let's go here, Shift, click. Oh, I don't mind that. That actually looks pretty good. Oops. Shift, and then click. Yeah, that's not bad at all. All right, so there's that edge. See how it's starting to make that couch look like it's a part of the floor, actually sitting on the floor? Now what I need to do is, so we have light coming from crazy directions here, but you can see that here's the light here, here's the light here, and on the guys, it's coming from the top, in the front, and the side. So you get like a 3-point lighting here. That's a lighting setup I use a lot. So we want to be able to create the facade that there's a little bit of shadow coming off this, coming from the corners and going out. So we're going to bring this flow way down to like 1. Okay? nice soft round brush. We're going to see what this looks like. Even with just the one, that's a little bit much. I don't like that. A real shadow, it's not that dark. You're still going to see some of the texture under the wood. So let's bring that opacity down a little bit. And we're gonna paint. Now with the opacity all the way down, it'll take a couple strokes over and over and over again. You see how it gets, it's like, again, layers. It's like building up of paint. If I put one quick stroke, only 14% of it's going to show. Put another stroke, there's 28. See what I mean? So it's just going to keep going. So he's going to be sitting like right about here. A little bit. There we go. That's starting to look good. I like that. There we go. That looks good. There, you kind of see how it starts to make that couch look like it's sitting there. You got some shadow here. There's not a lot of light. You see there was more light over here, so you're getting it. So there's not a lot of light here, but I'll still create like this little defining edge to kind of show that there was a little bit of light back there. And then what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to shift click a couple times here, and then really focus on that dark edge here, blending it in and out. So let me bring that up to 2. You see like little bits, little tiny adjustments. You don't want to make drastic adjustments because then it'll be too much too quick. There we go. Shadows, learning how to do shadows is probably the most important part of any kind of composite. Light and shadows. Without either one of those, you don't have an interesting picture. Without light, you don't have a picture at all. So understanding the concepts of light, the direction of light, the quantity, the quality, it's very important to building these kinds of pictures. See how it's nice and soft on this side over here? Because it's not a hard light behind them over here. So we want that soft fall off to kind of drop off. Actually, I'm going to close out my mail program so that it stops blasting us with, oh hey. All right, this is looking good. I like this. This is a start. There's no hard edge. I have a hard edge in here, so we'll get rid of this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right, let me zoom out a little bit. There's this little white bit over here that's drawing my eye to it every time. So is that part of the couch? It is. So let me go to the couch. I'm going to throw a layer mask on there, which is this little button here. Select a layer, click this, puts a layer mask on there. And what that does is it protects the original image, and I can use black to get rid of, because this is a white mask, or white to paint something back in. So because I'm painting on white, I want to use the opposite color, which is black. And what I can do now is I can paint. I can paint that right away. Providing I have, let me just go 100% here. Oh, I have my, bring it back up here. There we go. I have a nice soft brush, so I don't have to be right on top of it with my little brush circle there. So I can start going like this and then slowly work my way up. I can also shift and click, and that'll get rid of some. And you can see how it kind of went up a little bit. I can switch that right over to white, make my brush a little bit larger, and I can paint some of that right back in. Pretty simple and easy, right? Look, all right, so that doesn't draw my eye to it anymore. So those are pretty cool. These guys are pretty bright too, in their own respect, but they're lining up with the couch. It's bright here, he's bright, so I don't mind those quite as much. This actually looks pretty cool. So now what we need is some more background elements. Okay, I've got this shadow. Cody is going to be sitting here. He's a 9-year-old, going to be 9-year-old boy, so he's not going to be like taking up a lot of this. He's going to be sitting there with his headphones and his controller. So you'll see some wires and stuff. Maybe I'll take a picture of his Xbox that he plays with and set it down here. I don't know. I think maybe just a controller and his headphones will look cool. I don't know. There's so much you can do, but you don't want to overload it because this is going to be it's going to be a card. So there is going to be some text that gives the instructions. Maybe I'll just do that on the back. I'll do the back side of the card and I'll just do all the text and instructions, RSVP kind of stuff back there. So let's add, want some smoke. Need some smoke. So, because of the way the layers are structured, let's get rid of that background. So let's go here, shift. Now I have enough layers where I can create my couch its own group. C-O-U-C-H, couch. Okay, so now look, that whole thing shuts off. And on, and off. So you can see, I mean, this looks pretty cool on its own. Added some shadows under the feet, but anyways. So here we go. So background smoke. So we got this here. We need to go to our brush and then click on our brushes. Now, I have a ton of brushes, a ton of different brushes, because it really increases your workflow having different kinds of brushes. So I have like water effect brushes. I have some really cool chalk and flower brushes. But my favorite brushes of all time are these smoke brushes. It's not there's not very many of them, but there's enough to really make your composite like stand out, look really cool. So we're gonna go this one, 2303. We're gonna click on here. I don't want black smoke. I think I'm gonna go white at first. We can go 100% opacity, and then get my brush size up here. That's a huge brush. I need to bring it down. Whoa, yeah, there we go. So it's going to be behind the brush, but in front of, behind the couch, but in front of the SWAT team. I don't think I want that. I want to put this whole thing right into the background element. Yeah. And then, as you can see, I'm just going to click. Boom! Look at that. That's pretty cool. Smoke 1, and I'm going to do smoke 2. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, probably a little bit lower. Here. And then what I can do is I can pick this up and I can move it around. What is that there? wonder. Tricky, tricky. Now I gotta find out where that is. Did that come from the couch? Came from the couch. Let's find. Oh, it came from the shadow. So we gotta get rid of that. Oh, see that? Those little tiny things that you didn't know existed? Goodbye. That is why I like to keep things in their own little files, because it's really quick to isolate, like, where'd that come from? I don't even remember that being there. I don't want that. Oh, there we go. Now that's starting to look cool. Now I can go back to my smoke 2, my move tool, shortcut is V, and I can kind of move this around a little bit, you know? I can also, I can free transform and I can warp it a little bit, so I can make the smoke rise up a little bit there, maybe bundle in a little bit here, click there, bring the opacity back just a little bit. There we go. Now I want to create some low-lying fog or smoke, like around the edges here. Like I want it to envelop, like he's sitting here and it's going to come around him. And in order to do that, that needs to be in the foreground. So that was my background images, right? So now I need some foreground smoke. If smoke 1, foreground smoke 1. Now I'm not going to use the same brush because I don't want repeating patterns. And I could use this and then layer mask it and then brush some of it away, but I want to use some of these fun brushes. And I'm going to end up masking some of it away anyways. There's like a low level smoke there. This is like on the ground level. Let's bring this back a little bit. Let me just see what this looks like. I may or may not like it. Grab that V. Oh, actually, that can turn out to be pretty cool. Tweak it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Woo! See how it's up on the edge there? I don't like that it's up on the edge, so I will put a little layer mask on there, go back to my brush, and watch this. I don't need a little round brush. I'm going to use this brush and just give it a little right in there. There we go. So that kind of looks like maybe there's some smoke coming out from underneath, and we need maybe some wisps over here. So let's do another layer. Smoke 2. F smoke 2. Go back to my brushes. Let's see, some wisps. I like how this looks. I have some wispy stuff down here, but I like how this one looks. 2304. Dial that back a little bit. Now I do need probably something wrapping around in the background there, but I'll drop that there for now. Go to my V tool. Maybe crop this, not crop it, but like shrink it down a little bit. And then I can even warp it. So where, make this look like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's coming out and around this kind of thing. The tools of this, knowing the tools make, oh yeah, that looks super cool. And then I think over here, I need to tone that down a little bit. It's too bright. There we go. I do need something here. I don't like that black spot. It's catching my eye. Let me create group here. I'm going to go foreground smoke. Let's go back to background elements, smoke 2. Let's see, let's go here because we want to layer above that. I'm going to go smoke 3. It's the first time I've ever done like a video like this, so vocalizing it's a little weird for me, but I hope you guys are understanding it. Back to the brush. Let me grab a different one. I think I like this one. Just something short, simple. Yeah, see? Just something to kind of, yeah, there we go. That's pretty cool. Kind of just play around with it. I think that's pretty good. And what I'll end up doing is I'll just adjust the opacity of that layer because it's in the back a little bit, so it's not catching all that light that's coming in through here and here. That's why it's kind of brighter there, darker over here. I wanted this to fill out a little bit. Oh, that looks pretty cool. All right. So there's still a lot to do to this. There's a lot of, these guys are going to get knocked down a little bit because they're really, really bright. And I want the main focus to be my sun. So I can go to these guys. Let's see the smoke though. The smoke looks pretty cool. I think I need something over here though, right? I agree. Let's do another one. See, the great thing about this is if I don't like it, I can turn it off or delete it, so it doesn't really matter. F-Smoke 3. Let's see what we can do over here. Let's see. I like, try this guy. Zoom in. Oh, this one looks kind of cool. I can probably manipulate this to look, fold over this couch. Oh yeah, that one's sick. All right. Oh, I didn't take much manipulation at all. Look at that. See how it folds it right around? I am gonna warp it a little bit. Okay, so I want to pull this back a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Drop that down a little bit. Yeah. Sick. That looks really good. Drop the opacity just a little bit. There we go. So imagine him, he's going to sit here, he's got some smoke, and you know, once he's sitting there, I am going to blend his feet in with the smoke, so he'll be sitting, and the smoke will be coming up. I'll probably have some more smoke coming up here. You can never have too much smoke. Well, I mean, you can, but this is looking pretty sick right off the bat. We don't even have our main subject yet. We're just building the background. So let me get to the SWAT team. Okay. Now, because I want to do it to all of these guys together, because they're all pretty much the same contrast. I'm going to SWAT team. I'm going to do this. I'm going to move this right in. There we go. And I'm going to clip it. It clips it just to that guy. And then, oh, where'd he go? Copy this bad boy. Where's my, I guess I'm not going to copy. Go here for that guy, and then here for that guy. There we go. And I'm going to make sure that I'm clipping each one of these. 1, 2, clipped, clipped, clipped. All right, perfect. So who's this guy? Oh, it's him over there. All right, so I'm going to make him dark. But I'm not done. Relax, see that? This guy a little darker, but not too much. He has that light coming in here. So I'm going to knock down this side over here a little bit more and open up this side. And then this guy, it's a little bit less light here, more rimming here. So and you can see the edges a little bit on his helmet. So what we're going to do is we are going to get a brush, but remember, we still have a smoke brush. I don't need a smoke brush. I need just a soft round brush. That is a big soft round brush. I'm going to drop that down to about 10. And you can see how I can kind of like pick up some of these highlights. It's gone because there's like the edginess and the edge lights coming off this way. Some reflections. It's still pretty, go down to just a 1%. Get right in here on him so I can see these better. Yeah, I gotta get rid of some of that greening. There, somewhere in here. I'm just hitting some of the highlights that are coming from this side. This pokes out a little bit, so it's gonna grab some of that light. His buckle is definitely gonna show some stuff. Some more there. And my final touches that I do to my photos, almost all my photos. I don't like that. I gotta really knock that back some more. I'll burn that out. It gives it that that Jeremy look that people have come to know and like. It will actually add more detail and it will change the contrast a little bit in some of those. All right, so same thing with him. See where the light's coming in here? I want to keep it a little dark here because he's blocking the light that would be coming from here. And I want to open this up here. More in the front of him. Gun, that barrel to stand out a little bit. Just a little bit. And then this guy over here, less over here, more over here. You know what I mean? Like here we are. I'm actually going to add like a beam from that, which would be kind of cool, huh? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Could make it look pretty cool. And what I could also do to these guys too is I can go up here and I have this action, I call it my workflow. This is workflow. I do this a lot for like portrait retouching. That's what the cleanup is for, but we don't need that one. I can do dodging and burning on my layers here. And if there's something that I think should be, this is black, so I need to make sure that this is white. If there's something I think should be darker, like I think he should be darker on this side, I can darken it up. And this is non-destructive editing, so it's not right on the picture itself, it's on a layer. So if I screw up and be like, never mind, go back. I can delete that and start over. Or I can just switch it to black and I can paint some black back in there and there we go. I want that to be darkened. You know what I mean? That was really bugging me. The edge of his helmet there. Back there. Let's see. He's got some edging on his helmet too I want to get rid of. blackness in here. Some of the light coming there. Mine, I want to darken this up a bit. It's looking pretty good. A little bit of reflection from the light coming over. Oh, I think we're starting to look pretty good. I mean, this is what we're looking at. Oops, it's kind of zoomed way out. I mean, this is what we're looking at right now. This is pretty cool looking. And if you start right from the beginning, I don't want to be moving him. You can see we started here, and we worked our way up. Remember, we didn't use that. Might turn that on after and see what it looks like. Darkened the wood. And then I added in couch element. Actually, I think I added in the SWAT team, right? Added in the SWAT team, guys. Yeah. Then the couch, right? Then some smoke. Whoa, it's pretty cool. That's all on, right? Yeah, do the foreground stuff. Looks good. What would happen if we turn on that grunge layer? Does it make it look, oof, way too bright? Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, we can get rid of that completely. Because I like the way this is looking now. Now, this couch does need some dodging and burning. No doubt about that. So we're going to go right into that, and I'm going to place this right here. So it's probably going to auto clip. Let's go workflow. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Now these are all clipped too. I don't need that one. Now I'll leave it just in case, because these are all going to unclip once I do that one. They're all clipped to this couch. So now I can dodge and burn. So I want to burn. I'm going to burn some of these things down. 1%. Bring this back a little bit so it's gradual. You know what I mean? Darken that up a little bit. I can hear the 9-year-old downstairs on his game right now talking to other players. It's crazy. So I'm darkening these edges because I want the focus to be on Cody, who's going to be here. He'll cover this up, so I don't really need to knock that down too much. I want this to be a very dark, grungy, fun kind of scene. So I'm going to hit the dark spots already, and just I'm knocking it back just a little bit, so that you can still see the texture in the leather, and it kind of brings out depth. You know what I mean? So right now I'm just burning. I'm just doing the dark areas. I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit these highlights because I like those highlights. And you'll see it'll start to add like depth to the couch so that you'll see the curvature of the cushions. And again, this is going to be a lengthy tutorial. Like I want you guys to see exactly my workflow, my process, and then how long it takes me to really build one of these. Because it's not just like a copy and paste and cut and paste and drop it in there and then like, look at that, he's done. I'm not your typical commercial studio who has 600 people working on one little project. I do it all individually. And then the custom work takes time. I mean, there's been times where I don't even like. I'll get halfway done with it and be like, yuck, I don't like it. I'll scrap it and I'll start all over. I'll keep certain elements of it and then I just, gotta start over. I want to darken this up a little bit. I want that smoke to pop. There we go. That's nice. Cody's going to be covering that, so I'm not too worried about that. There we go. And you can see, you'll see the difference. Ready? Before, after. Subtle. But it makes a difference. It really does. It really does have an impact on the final image. All right, so let me go to the dodge. Ooh, where am I going with that one? I'm going to go to the dodge. And I'm going to kick this back quite a bit, actually. I don't want, these are already really good highlights. I just want to kind of create some depth with what I'm doing here. Just bringing them up just a little bit. So there's that edge. Essentially what I'm doing is what makeup artists do to models' faces. They use their makeup in their brushes and they create lines and whatnot, and they kind of like do their own dodge and burning on someone's face so they can really highlight cheekbones by putting makeup certain areas. It's kind of cool. The pleasure of working with some great makeup artists when I had a studio in Miami, the Wynwood Arts District. Great makeup artists. See, it's kind of starting to add a little bit of depth. Not a lot, but it's adding a little bit of depth to these seat cushions by manipulating the light areas, the highlights, and the shadows. So we'll take the dodge. You can barely notice it. Dodge. It's perfect. I like it. All right. Well, I'm pretty happy and confident with the way the front of this looks right now. And I'll end up getting up and walking away, and I'll come back and I'll see that I probably want to do something else. Once I have Cody sitting here, I might change how these guys look. I might go darker, the whole thing. But you got to remember, this is also going to be color tones so that everything blends together, so you don't have like these warm tones here and these cold tones here or cool tones. It's all going to kind of blend together, and I might add maybe some gray smoke to fill in this black in the background, or some lights that are coming from here. But yeah, so here's the starting of our background. I've got to go set up and shoot the subject. It'll be fun trying to pull him away from his video game, but it's for his birthday party, so hopefully he'll do it. So stand by. I'm going to stop for now, and then when I come back, I'll be able to load Cody in and then cut him out and drop him right there. All right, guys, so I'm back. I have finished the photo shoot with Cody. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. I got a lot of good footage. Started, and then somewhere along the line, the camera stopped recording. So I lost like the actual shoot part of it, where I was taking the pictures and explaining everything. So unfortunately, I'm not going to have that in this one. The next one, I'll definitely have my gear talk, where I'm talking about all the gear that I'm using, and then settings and how I'm setting up my lights and whatnot. Really wanted it in here because that was the one piece that, I'm doing that photo shoot. Everything else is all stock footage, where this was the actual photo shoot. I want to show you how I'm blending them into this, how it's important. It's an important step. Anyways, hopefully next time. But let me show you the photos that I got of Cody. So, file, open. It's on my desktop. It is under episode 3, footage and media. All right, so these are all. I'm going to open them all up because they're raw. See how they're CR2s? That means at their raw format. I was shooting with the Canon 5D Mark IV, so they're pretty big files and they're pretty good. They came out really good. I used, kind of give you a brief rundown. This is my 200 square foot studio office located in a sports complex. I usually don't shoot in the office unless it's something really small. I usually go out onto one of the basketball courts or the soccer fields or whatnot. That was a test shot. I mean, that's a pretty cool one. I like to see more of his face. There we go. Ha! That's a cool one. Got that light here. So on the sides here were speed lights and then another speed light up here. It's a really small, short setting because it was such a small area. These are nice. I like that one. Where he's kind of chilling. I like that. That one's a good one. More serious. That's with his hat off. I don't know. I think I want it with the hat on, with that little bit of shadow there. I kind of like that. Most people would probably go for something like this so you could really see the eyes and the face and what have you. I don't know. Yeah, look at him, little ham. I liked these ones too, where he was like super just chill and relaxed. And see how I like the forced perspective a little bit. So now it's right in my face. I really liked that. And then, yeah, I think this is my favorite. Yeah, I know, this one right here. I think this one is my favorite with him chilling out and relaxing like that. I wish he would have had his hat on. So it's either between that one. So I'm going to hit Command 5. See, it marked it. It gave it 5 stars. And then where's the other one? The other one was... Which one was it? I like that one, but... Yeah, I think it was this one. Although I like that one. I'm gonna go with that one there. That'll be my other one. So Command 5 again, so that I'm marking it here. That way I can just hit Select Rated. It'll just select the 2 that are rated. I'm not gonna do anything here except for maybe crop it down so I can get it all here. Where's the other one? Same thing. I'm going to crop it. Bring it down a little bit more. There's going to be a lot of work done on these ones here because guess what? The floor isn't green, so when I do the extraction, only that's going to come out. But everything but him is going, so I have to cut the whole chair out. You'll see it's quite involved. So I'm really torn. I don't know which one I want to do. Let's see. Let's go back up here. And now that I've got them both selected, I'm not going to do any changes here because I don't think I need to do any. I like exactly the way it looks. So I'm going to click OK or Open Images. And those look pretty good. All right, so, I mean, yeah, they look pretty good. That one looks good. Click up here. I'll show you the other one. I think I'm gonna go with this one though. Yeah. He looks more relaxed. It's gonna be a little bit more work. Because he's leaning back, and he's gonna be leaning back on this couch. It might not work. Because see, the depth of that couch is different and the angle than it is here versus here. So we'll have to use this one. No biggie. I like this one too. It's going to turn out to be just as cool. All right, so first off, let's get rid of that green. I go to my action, which is the play button. Where is it? It's under there. It's under Game Changer. There it is. Quick green screen extraction. I press play. It's going to get rid of just the green, and you see I still have the chair and all this stuff to cut out and get rid of. So I am going to jump right into that. So over here, the action actually creates, hue saturation adjustment layer, and you can see here when I double click it, and I go into my greens, you'll see that the saturation is dropped right out. It does a bunch of, the action does a bunch of different things, and then it ends up creating its own mask right on top of that. So I'm going to make sure my mask is selected. I'm clicked on it. I want to remove, so I need to make sure that my brush is going to be black. I want it to be full tilt, full flow, full opacity, and then I want to make sure that spacing is set to 1, and my hardness is probably going to be in the 80s somewhere. Honestly, I like anything above 78 works, and then if I need to adjust it, I can. I'm not really worried about it. All right, let's get to work. Let's get to work removing stuff. And it's just doing this. And this is going to take a little bit, so if you want, you can skip ahead. But like I said, I like to keep my videos raw, uncut. I'm not going to do this in the editing process, because in case somebody wants to see what I'm doing, you know, how does he do those techniques, watch what tools I'm using. But essentially, this is just masking. I am just getting rid of all of the stuff I do not need. Now, there are things that I am going to keep. See these shadows by his feet? Oops. Not if I click on it like that. See these shadows? I am going to keep those. I'll have to create my own shadows in here for on the couch, because this is a different texture. So let's just keep getting rid of all this. Quick rough. Quick rough line. You can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. Again, I want that shadow because I'm going to use it. And you know his feet, you're going to see them a little bit, but you know they are going to be covered in some smoke. Zoom right in here. Let me look at what we got here. All right. So, brush that out. Keeping that shadow. I'm just gonna keep moving on here. I got way too much of that. All right, so I'm gonna start doing the shift click thing where I click then shift. So if you push down, whether you're using a mouse or a tablet, then hold shift, then you can start to click, and the brush will follow exactly where you want the stroke to go. And that's what I'm doing here. I can go back and get rid of some of that. Now when it comes to like pant legs and whatnot, you're always going to see like these little wrinkles and whatnot. I don't get too concerned about that unless it's going to distort the shape of somebody. I need my shape dynamics transfers on. Yeah. Perfect. I don't even need the smoothing on. I shut all this off. You could see as I was pushing the button, like now it's like straight. Earlier transfer was on and it goes by the pen pressure. So see how I barely touched it and it looks like my opacity's on, but that's not true. My opacity's not on. The control is set by the pen pressure. I don't want that on at all. Now when I click, boom, solid. That's what I want. So click, shift, and I'm just going to start working up the leg here. Hold down my space bar and I can, my little hand tool. Right, now I want to get the best I can in here. And I'll clean up most of this once I have him in the actual, whoa, took off a bunch of his finger there. In the actual scene. Now, I'm sure there are some people out there who are way better at this than me. A lot of what I have learned has been through tutorials and a lot of trial and error, and honestly just getting in here and messing around, playing with each one of the tools. I want to see what each one of the tools does, so I mess around with each one of the tools, and then that's it. But I watch and I learn, and then when I create projects in my head and I put them down on paper, I'm like, how do I make this? And honestly, I start like what you see. I start with the background first. Try to envision what the background is. That way, once I have the background done, I can shoot my subject to fit the background. Now, you can do it the opposite way. You can shoot your subject first and then try to pick a background that he'll blend into, but you're going to be limited. You're actually going to have to find a background that he's going to blend into, or that you can blend him into, or you're going to be doing a lot more dodging and burning and adding in some shadows or burning down some highlights. I don't like to take a lot of time. I like to be able to be quick and precise as I can be anyways. You can see a lot of my work is pretty crude, but then the blending work is everything. That's what we're going to do when we're inside Photoshop. So if I can do a lot of the work before I hit Photoshop, I have the lighting done, everything looks good, I'm going to save myself a ton. I got to zoom way in on this one. You'll see why. See this carpet? It's right here. It's in here. You're going to save yourself a ton of time, energy, and frustration. If you can get it right in camera. That's the most important part. And that's why I always suggest, and it's only a suggestion, every artist, every creative is different in their workflow, but I like to create the background first because it gives me a sense of what I'm doing. And then I know the angle I need to shoot my subject at, the height, every bit of this is very important when it comes to doing composites. The height of your camera needs to be the exact same height that you are creating in your background. Because if the perspective's off, like, remember this one here? It's not going to really see how much depth is there on that seat. Had I come down on my angle a little bit more and got rid of that depth and shot more straight on, this might have worked. But unfortunately, it's not going to. We're going to make this one work instead. Shorter depth, but I'll make it work. I'm going to have to blend him in a little bit better. And it is. It's going to take a lot of blending, a lot of dodging, burning. And I say that now, and then we'll see when we get in there. It might be different. Still bummed about the video. I really wanted to shoot video to show you the equipment I use. Because this picture, believe it or not, was shot inside my tiny little 200 square foot office. My studio is actually an indoor sports center. I have an office, 200 square foot office, where I do headshots and I do a lot of my work. But then you step outside and there's this humongous sportsplex that has soccer fields and basketball courts and overhead mezzanines and whatnot. And those are where I set up my backdrops, or if I don't need a backdrop, if I'm doing a slam dunk for a basketball shoot, or that's where I do all my studio work. Or I go on location. I have a photo shoot coming up that I'm going to get some B-roll for, hopefully. Working with a hockey team. I'm going to be doing the shoot start to finish, and then working on their on their photos. They want some really cool, unique ones. They saw some of my other work and was like, ooh, we like this. And that's what happens a lot. And you'll see that as you start designing. People are going to be like, I like this style that you did. I want this. Because believe it or not, people like to leave the creative process up to you. And then you're going to get those clients who you're going to send them your creative work and they'll be like, can you add this? Can you do this? Can you remove this? Can you add this? Can you get rid of that? And as frustrating as it is, because now you're like, oh, I'm ruining my original piece of work here. As frustrating as it is, they're the client. They're the ones paying you. You got to do what the client wants because it's their design. And in the end, as long as they're happy, you should be happy. Happy client is a good thing. I have a lot of happy clients. Okay, see what I just did there? Ooh. Hope so. Because all I did, so I hit some of his shirt. So I just switched my brush color. You can do it here by hitting this, or the keyboard shortcut is X. I'm using a Mac. You can see I'm clicking on the X and it just goes back and forth. Now I need to go back to black on my mask because I want to get rid of this portion here. Now these other pieces I know I have to paint back in, see those? I'm not concerned about this. Not yet. Okay? Not at all. Is that an ink stain on his shirt? I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna show you how I do that. So here I'm gonna do the click and shift. See how nicely this works? You can get through bigger areas really quick. Pushed a little button on my pen, on my stylus. Here we go. And then I did it again. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to clean this up just a little bit. Okay. And let's keep going all around. Make sure that we got everything. I do need to bring this back in though. See how I lost some of the details in the headphones? He bugged us for months and months and months about getting these gamer headphones so that he could do his online gaming and talk to the people that he's gaming with. He's big into the Black Ops games. And finally, Santa brought him a pair. And now he lives in them when he remembers to charge them. And just for you concerned people out there, which I'm hoping there's not, he is restricted. He only gets 2 hours a day to sit in front of his computer, or not his computer, but his PlayStation for the technology, a day on school nights. So during the week, he only gets 2 hours, which most people think is a lot. I think it's comparable, especially with these kids today. All right, shift, click, 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 click. Now, like I said, I am eventually going to make a tutorial on just selecting so that you can see the different methods of selecting. It's kind of bumpy, but I can smoothen that out after. That are out there. There's so many different ways, but that's not what my tutorials are about. My tutorials are about, like, I want to show you so you can kind of follow along. You can see what I'm doing. This is all just masking. This is one way to do your selection, which is masking. Now there's probably some shortcuts and some easier ways to do this. I currently do what I know, and look at that. He's cut out. All right, because my action does these clippings, which is taking the layer above it and clipping it to the layer directly below it so it doesn't affect any others. See these little arrows? That's what shows that. And you can see in between, this would get rid of it, but I don't want to. So we're going to layer. We're going to go merge clipping mask because we want those to merge down onto this. So there he is. Now we have this. I'm going to save because now that I have them cut out, I'm good to go. There's also another cool little trick, and you can kind of see how good your edges were and if there's any like scrub or stuff left over that you can't really see because it's so small, and this is a transparent background by these little squares. If you hit Command and then click on the mask, I'm sorry, not Command. That puts a little, it's Option. Hold Option on the Mac and hit the mask. Boom. All right, so instantly I can see stuff that I've missed. This little spot here, and then the logo on his hat, Mindtrek, which is the place that he's doing his birthday party at. All right, so this is what the mask actually looks like. You get the black and then you get the white. So the white you're drawing in, the black you're getting rid of, right? So I can leave it on white, and I can paint this in right now. I can paint right on the mask. This is what I'm looking at. These are the spaces in between the headphones. I'm good with that. Get this out of there. Get that out of there. There's some fluff over here. And I don't see any like, whoop, yeah, there's a little spot. See, this is what I'm talking about. Woo! Get rid of that. Black. I need black, Jeremy. Switch to black. Small little spots like this that you don't see essentially on the mask because it's hidden. When you bring it over to your final composite, Option, click, brings it back. When you bring it over to your composite, that little piece will be somewhere, and it will take away from the actual making this look real. All right, so let's do our move tool, which is up here. I'm going to grab this guy, and I'm going to now drag him over to the couch layer. All right, so we've got, I just want to see where he's at. He's got to be in front of the couch SWAT in the background. The foreground smoke, he does not have to be in front of because I want that to be wrapping around him. So he's actually in a really good spot. So he's super huge. So Command T, the constrain button there, and then Command 0. So it will zoom out and I can see. The Command 0 is just a shortcut. You can hit Command minus and you can zoom all the way out. And then I'm going to grab and bring him in. Bring him in. You can kind of see already. It looks pretty cool, right? Remember I had him sitting right on the edge of that chair. And there's some highlights coming in on this side and highlights coming in on this side. So you can kind of see the lights trying to leak in. It's actually not looking bad. And remember I was telling you about the smoke on his feet. So I wasn't super concerned about that. But you know what? He still looks massive compared to those guys. He's an 8-year-old kid. And he looks really massive compared to that couch. He's a tall kid, but he's not that tall. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Now I can also, we can go online and we can find some other elements to add to this. If I wanted to put like an Xbox, or he's playing a PS3, if I want to put some wires, if I wanted to get crazy. But I think less is better. This is simple, straightforward. Get your guys. You've got the player. You've got some smoke coming in. This actually looks pretty cool. But now what I need to do is shut off my foreground smoke because I still want to add shadows all around him. So now I'm going to add a layer, which is this button here. It's going to be below him. Okay. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to say shadows. If I can spell SHADOWS. Shadows. Okay. I'm going to click here. I'm going to call this Cody Gamer. So Cody, and then his shadows. So I'm not worried about the color temperature right now because it's different. The background and everything's more cool. He's more warm. I'm not worried about that right now. We'll take care of that after. Right now, I need to make it look like he's actually sitting on that couch. So I need to go back to my brush. I don't need these colors. So I'm going to click here, which puts me back to my original palette, which is black and white. I do need the black. And I need a soft brush, a very soft brush. So let's go here. I'm not going to say 83. I want that bad boy all the way down here to 0. Or 1. All right, super soft. All right, flow, I'm going to bring that bad boy right down to 1, 2. I'm going to zoom right in nice and close on him. Now he looks pixelated, and it's not a high-res image because what am I doing this on? This is a 5x7 card. I'm not blowing this up to be a 16x20. It's going to be down on a 5x7, so I'm not too concerned about the resolution. And it keeps the size down. I'm already at an 88 meg file. All right, so let's start down here by his feet. I left these shadows here, right? So now I can just kind of build upon these. Flow is at 1, opacity 100. I'm on that layer. I'm on black, and I'm just going to start painting. Okay? Just start painting. Now the thing with shadows, and I might have to, and I'm exactly what I'm going to do. This is a harsh shadow. Okay? I don't want a harsh shadow. So what I need to do is I need to, with my flow still at 1%, my black selected, I'm going to knock that back a little bit. Knock that shadow back. I want to see the floor. There. See how you can start to see that floor? There you go. Just a little bit. I don't need to knock it back too far, but and get rid of any hard edges. Now I can go back here and continue to paint. I like that softness. You got to be able to see. Got to be able to see the hardness. Okay. Same thing over here. Open that brush up a little bit. Just paint. Good. I like that. Now I can see the inside of his foot here. Now normally you probably wouldn't see much shadow, but you're gonna see a little bit. His foot needs to make contact with the floor, right? So there's two types of the shadows that I like. There's that hard edge, which shows that the foot is planted, and then there's the spread, like the actual shadow. That's the offshoot. So you need to make sure that the foot looks grounded on here. We can zoom back. Add a little bit more over here. And on the edge here, I want to make it just a little darker. Like I said, that grounding. Make it look so he's not floating. There we go. Look. Yeah, those feet look grounded. Looks like his feet are there. Now, we got to do the rest, which is him. So there would be no light here, right? Absolutely not, because there might be a little here if it shoots straight through here, but because his arms and his legs are blocking it. So we need to do just that. I need to darken this up a little bit. So I'm going to draw on his shadow here. And you notice because this layer is behind him, I can draw behind him and not get it on him. Okay? So I'm going over and over, and I'm just making a big loop. Okay, and then on him, once we get there, we're going to have to burn all this in too to blend it in. Okay, so we'll do that. So that works, right? You see that? You can start to see the shadow. Again, I'm going to bring this down a little bit. So I'm going to drop my opacity down to like 10 or 11. And I'm just going to bring the brightness of this down a little bit. Now with the opacity, down so far and the flow is at like 1%. This takes a lot of layering. You're going to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. But if you click and you're holding and you're scribbling on here and you're drawing, it's only going to put down 11%. Okay? And as soon as I unclick and I go again, then you'll start to see it get darker. That's how the opacity works. Okay? I want a little bit of light on there. Okay? Because there is still some reflected light. There is, he's leaning on his legs, so there is a space behind his controller and his inner thighs that possibly some light could come in here. You see, I'll click this on and off and you'll see the difference. Before, after. See that edge right there? That's what we're after. And then I'm just knocking this down. and it's personal taste. You get it to where you feel like, yeah, I like that. That looks good. That's just personal taste. Okay, let me back it up a little bit. Yeah, that looks nice. So now you're thinking, what about the outer edge? And look at that thing right there. We got to get rid of that. So we've got light coming this way, light coming this way, right? So the outer edge, I'm not going to put a shadow. This is going to be highlighted, and I got to get rid of on him just some pieces that are left over. This looks pretty good. I'm going to give a little shadow probably over here, maybe a little here, just because there's a cross light and a cross light. So just to give it a little bit of realism here. And remember, the shadow needs to bend. So I'm going to bring this up, the opacity up a little bit. Want it a little higher. Just make my little motion here. Not to be anything crazy. Same thing over here. There was that cross pattern. So I want it to be a little bit to show that he's there. I don't want to go too crazy, because then you can really get carried away. Now he's set away from the back of the couch. I want him on that edge, like he's staring down at me right now, kind of like he is. I mean, look, he's sitting. Right now, it looks like he's sitting. So just adding these little shadows over here in the curvature kind of gave the idea that the couch is being sat on. Kind of brought these cushions in just a little bit. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to get any kind of crazy. And I can, I think I want to bring down the back just a little bit. Not up top there, but back here just a little bit. Kind of help him stand out and pop those edges and those highlights just a little bit. Okay? Because there was a forward light that was hitting him. There we go. All right, those shadows look really good. All right, I'm happy with those shadows. So he's connected. So let's go before. I just clicked the little eye that toggles your layers on and off. All right, he's just kind of chilling there. Clearly, it looks like he's just floating there. And this is a big mistake a lot of people make when they first start compositing. And it's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's just they've never been taught the correct way to do it. You need to ground your subject. Shadows are everywhere. So you click that, boom. There he is. He's sitting there. Yeah. A little bit more there, a little bit more there. I like this. Darken that up just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. So he's there. He's looking pretty sick. Watch this. Let me turn on the foreground smoke. Oh, yeah. Now you're probably thinking, oh, well, he's got the smoke right here. Why are you even caring about the shadows? Well, you can still see a little bit that his feet aren't grounded. You watch. Makes a difference. Does not look real. Starting to look real. All right. So I do want to add just a little bit of smoke wrapping up and around his legs, because if the smoke is rolling in, it's going to hit him and roll up a little bit. So you know what we got to do? That's right. Let's go to our foreground smoke. I'm going to add another layer. We're going to go F smoke. Is this number 4? 4. Come into my brush palette here, and I'm going to find that smoke brush amongst all of these. Here we go. All right, now I just need like a little wisp. So I'm going to end up using something and then masking some of it away. Those are two, maybe something like this. Make sure I'm on white. Let's get that opacity back up to 100, opacity back up to 100. I'm going to scale this brush down. It's at a mega 2386. That's a big size. So I'm going to scale this down a little bit just to see what it looks like. Yeah, so I'm going to use this topper, not that much. So I'm going to go V, bring this down a little bit. Okay. Add myself a layer mask there. And then back on my brush. Brush this away. There we go. Here's a little bit kind of gliding back up there. I'm gonna hit X to go back to white. I want just a little bit there. Now, here we go. And then adjust the opacity a little bit. So that's just a little bit. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. New layer. Foreground smoke 5. I've already got my brush. I'm gonna go ahead and click. And then again, Command T. I'm gonna flip it. So once I do my free transform, if I right click on the inside of this box, this bounding box, it gives me some of these options. Free transform, scale, rotate, skew, distort, perspective, warp. I use warp a ton. Right now, all I'm gonna do though is flip horizontal. I want to go in the opposite direction. Bring that down a little bit. I'm actually going to bring it over this way. Same thing, threw a layer mask on there, and I'm going to just paint some of this away. Yeah, so it's kind of coming up a little bit. I like that. That looks kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, this looks pretty sick right now. And there's not much more. I mean, there's little tiny tweaks that we're going to be doing. I mean, look at this already, just by plopping them in there. Now the color temperature's got to change. I do got to do some dodging and burning on him. So let's close this foreground smoke. I'm going to click here on him. I'm going to hit Shift, click Shadows. I'm going to create a new group or a new folder. This is going to be called Gamer Cody. So that's going to be his own layer or his own folder. So now I need to dodge and burn him. Sounds creepy, right? So I have my own my workflow action. It's called workflow. Gives me the cleanup layer, gives me a dodge layer, and it gives me a burn layer, which is essentially just a curves adjustment with a mask, with a black mask. So when it comes up, you're not seeing the adjustment, and I can go in and fine tune these. And then the cleanup is just a blank layer to where I can go in and I can remove any unwanted objects like this. So I'm going to go to my cleanup layer. I'm going to go to my clone, stamp, flow is going to go down a little bit. My flow is, the flow that I like to use is really low, and I just layer it in there, and I try to select a color that's pretty close to where it's going to be. If I hold my option, see how I get that bullseye? That's selecting my color. And I'm just going to paint that out of there. Okay? Just like that. Because that looks horrible. Now be careful when you get down here, because see, there's a hem. So I'm going to click really close to that. That way I can keep that line. Here we go. And I don't want to get too much into that fold. That's a shadow. Here we go. Come down here. You get this now. And it's just little by little. I don't do drastic changes when it comes to clone because you'll see it right away. If you look at, there's a lot of like Photoshop blunders out there, mainly in the, see these are the same tones, so I'm going to keep this here, shrink my brush down, and I'm going to get that in there. Mainly in the fashion industry, like you see, some of them are pretty crazy. A lot of what you're seeing, the blunders, are because of this clone stamp tool, making them look like they're plastic, and the warp or the liquefy tool, which makes which liquefies and warps everything around them versus just them. So if they're trying to get rid of a thigh, this couch should look like it's pushed into the thigh because, well, they weren't good at what they were doing and they were probably rushed. And a lot of them just don't care. Let's get rid of this last piece. This is a tricky piece because you have some blue, touching the blue, and you get some highlight here. So you got to be very careful. You don't scrub into your highlight. And or get some of that red on the blue up there. We don't want that. Here we go. Just some more cleanup stuff. Now they look more like shadows and less like ink stains. Any other thing? He's an 8-year-old boy. What do you want? There are stuff on his face. There is stuff on his face. I thought about getting rid of this blue, but he's an 8-year-old kid. He was into something, right? Shows that he does something other than gaming. I think these were markers from school when he got home from school. All right, so he's got these few things on his face. I'm sure his food. I'm going to go up here to my spot healing brush. Now there's two of them. There's a healing brush tool and a spot healing. The healing brush tool, you have to select the area in which you want to copy or heal. It's kind of like the clone tool, just more precise. And then this one here, you literally, it does the selection for you. So you just color over what you want to go away, and it grabs the surrounding pixels, and it gets rid of them for you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. See, it kind of still sits there. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to go to my healing brush, small brush, option to select the area, and then I'm going to paint over it. So that doesn't even look like it's working very well. So I guess the next best step would be my clone stamp tool. I did not like what that was giving me. Sometimes that works. When I do my skin retouching, it works really well. Today, did not want to work. So that's why it's always good to have a couple tools and some tricks that you know will work. But I mean, he's 8 years old, so his skin is pretty flawless, except for all the food. All right, zoom out. There we go. Clean face. That looks pretty sick. That looks pretty cool. I like it. Now this is just the front, so the back of it's going to have all the information. And if you want, I can take you through the how I do all that. I can do that too. Matter of fact, I probably will, but let's just get this picture done up first. All right, so next step, I think, is going to be, let's get some color toning on this, right? So a lot of blue, a lot of highlight. No, actually, I still got to break. I got to dodge and burn him, huh? Yeah, I do. Dodge and burn then, never mind. He still looks a little bright and not darky on the inside here. Not not dark over here. Like, I'm going to do some dodging and burning. Let me get a regular brush. I want a soft brush, so I mean I can change that to like 4. I want it to bleed because, you know, shadows expand out. So let me zoom in here now. Get on my burn layer, and let me do some burning. What am I at for flow? Do not want to be at 100% at all. If I'm at 100%, and I'll show you, watch, I'm at 100%. If I decide I want to start dodging and burning at 100%, and be on a white brush. Look at this. It's like, wah. It's like dark, 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 dark. We don't want that. I bring that bad boy right down to 1, and I work my way up in tiny little increments. Okay, I want this. Tiny little increments. And then down here, I'm gonna dodge down his shoe a little bit because it's on the inside of that couch. Now, there is some light spilling down there, but you see the shadow line? Yeah, just darken it out a little bit. Shoe does not need to be that bright. Anybody new to this will know that when you're dealing with photography and photos or even art, any kind of art, that you want the viewer to, well, be just that, the viewer. When you're looking at a picture, the first thing your eye is drawn to is going to be the brightest thing in the picture. Right? You should have a flow in your pictures to where you want the viewer, you want to control how the viewer sees this picture. Okay? So, believe it or not, the first thing I see when I open this up, these guys' face, because it's so bright, which is okay. I don't mind that. He's the main focus. But when I'm opening this up and I look and I be like, oh my God, look at these two guys. This kid sitting here, he's playing his game. Like, this is pretty sick. I can probably, because the SWAT team's behind him, I can burn them down a little bit. So they're not so bright. It puts a little bit more emphasis. But see, what he's looking this way. He's looking this way. He's looking like up this direction. Cody's looking straight at me. Looking right at me. So I'm going to make his eyes open a little bit. I'm going to dodge them, which is highlights. Just open it up a little bit. Not to go crazy. Just open it up a little bit. I like this little shadow line from his hat. It looks kind of cool. Just to see. And then his controller. I should be able to see his controller. Now, the action that I like to run, that's called Jeremy's Touch. It gives me my signature look. And it's taken me a while to develop a nice signature look. That's going to add some sharpness and highlights and detail to this too. But I'm going to go ahead, now that I'm dodging, I'm going to hit all these areas. I want them to be a little bit brighter. This is where the actual light is falling, so it makes it a little bit nicer. So this outer edge of his leg has some light on it. And when you start shaping with light and shadow, you'll start to see, like, you can really cause some definition to come out. Yeah, that looks good. And lighten that up just a little bit. Back a little bit. Before, after, subtle effect, but it works, right? Before, after, look at that. Like it. All right. I think I'm almost done. Let me go here. I'm going to add a color layer, a solid color layer, but I'm going to hold Option before I push my FX button here. This FX gives me some blending and and some stuff. And it's actually not FX that I want. I want this one, which is my actual adjustment layers. I want a solid color adjustment layer. Now by holding Option, it gives me this new layer option box where I can make some selections. And I can name it. So the name of this is not going to be color fill. It's just going to be toning. Is that an M or an N? Jesus. Jeremy, T-O-N-I-N-G, toning. Color. The color. I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to do it blue. I love the color blue. The blend mode. This is the blend mode. We're going to turn that right to color. Opacity, drop that bad boy down to like 10%. I'm going to click OK. Now it's going to bring up the toning color. I selected blue. You can even you can select a certain color. So if you wanted to try to match like this blue, you can. And just like that, if you saw, it instantly toned it like way down, which is pretty cool. I like that. That was really quick. And like I said, all I did was from this color picker, if you slide over to the picture, see this eyedropper tool? It literally chooses whatever color. I wanted red, kind of gives that red tone to it. I wanted the blue, gives the blue tone to it. That was more of a green. I like this blue. Right about there. I like that. Now that's at a 10% opacity. See the opacity up here? I can adjust this to be 100%, which looks kind of cool. And then I can slowly bring it back until I get to a point that I'm like, I like that. Which is pretty much like right about there. So that's about 40%. Now I like that. Now let me run my action, my final touch, and let me see what it looks like. I might not like it, and I may just come back and I might change it out. I don't know. Nope. I'm done. See that? Here's my finishing touches. And it makes it looks pretty cool. Looks really cool. The smoke really pops with this, and what my finishing touches really do is it just gives such extreme details, like a lot of details. And it brings out all the details, and you can see it makes the smoke really pop out and kind of give dimension and depth. I like this. I think I'm done. Just like that. And there you go. All right, there's the front. The front of 8-year-old turning 9-year-old's birthday invitation. So there's the front. So I am going to go File, Save As, and this is his B-Day invite. Invite front. I'm going to save it as a PSD first, which is a Photoshop document. I guess I already had it saved, so all I had to do was click save, and it would have saved all of this. And now I'm going to File, Save As. I'm going to make this a JPEG. Okay, invite front JPEG. Save. Maximum quality of 12. Click OK. And it's saved as a JPEG. Now, in the event that somebody else saw this and was like, I want that same exact, I want that all, I can easily replace Cody, gamer, with whatever subject I want. So now I have a template. And I do this a lot. So now I have this cool little gamer template that I can just drop a subject into now and then blend them in like I did before. And there we go. So I do this a lot. So you'll see I have a lot of templates. Some templates I buy. There's so many templates out there where I'm doing large groups, like sports groups or whatnot. I won't try to build a template. I'll find one that I'm like, oh my God, these are really cool. I'll present the team with a couple cool pre-made templates and be like, hey, what do you guys think of these? And they're like, oh, I love this one. And then I'll just end up using that template. And they're everywhere out there. There's so many different companies out there that sell Photoshop templates for just about everything. So you can find them all over the web. Just type in Photoshop composite templates and man, you'll be surprised what comes up. All right, put Cody back in there. Let's turn all my other layers on. So that's good to go. I like that. So what I'm going to do now, instead of creating a whole new layer, I can close all this stuff out. Save. Save. That should already have been saved, but let's save it again. Yeah. All right. So instead of like creating another 5x7 blank and going all through this, what I can do is I can create another layer right above it because this layer is now going to be instantly 5x7. So I think I want the back of this to be just plain black. So I'm going to go to the paint bucket. I'm going to click here to make my black active. And I am going to click. Boom. Gone. Everyone's gone. Okay. And I'm going to label this back text. And then from here, you can't just have this plain black. Come on, you got to match the back with the front, right? So what do we have here? Foreground smoke. We have the background elements, which is all of these, right? So I'm going to go here. Shift. Click. I'm going to duplicate. Okay. Smoke 3, 2, 1 copy. Drag those bad boys right above that black layer. There it is. I can close that back down. All right, black text, smoke. We have the smoke kind of drifting around. I mean, I could put the floor down there if I want to, but I don't want to. But I'm gonna drop that opacity way back because we're gonna have text over the front of it. Okay, so to make a new text layer, you're just going to go to the text. Okay, and let me grab the details first of where his birthday party is going to be. Oh, where are you? Sorry, I am scrolling through an email right now. Told you it was going to be live. I wasn't ready. Was not ready. Let's see. There it is. All right. We can do something standard like, let me get some fonts up here. What do we got? Some cool fonts. This one's a cool one. I don't want it to be black. I'm going to go probably white to start, and then maybe I can do something over it. All right, we can go Y-O, you're invited to start. You're invited. Go click V so I can move this around. You're invited. So we're doing, it's a VR place, and they're doing a couple different games. They're doing a zombie survival game, then they're doing this other game where they're fighting like cyborg robots. Write something easy as you're invited to join Cody, and we can make that done. And then, oh, you know what? Let me go back to text. Let me show you this. So see my text bounding box? It doesn't need to be that big, right? Because I didn't write that much text. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. That way, when I now go Command T, and I move this bad boy around, you're invited. I think I want "You're Invited" really big too. To join Cody. Shrink this guy down too. "You're Invited" should be nice and big. P, "You're Invited," Command T. Now I can just change the font if I wanted to, but there's a couple different ways you can resize this. "You're Invited." I like that. There you go. I'm not going to put it right up on the edge because when I send this to the printer, they're going to have like a bleed edge. "You're invited to join Cody." All I did was click on the auto select. When I'm working with a lot of text, I like to have this on because then I don't have to go over here and click it. I can literally just click whatever layer I want to use, and it auto selects it for me. "You're invited to join Cody." You're invited to join Cody to celebrate for our. You're invited to join Cody for his 9th birthday party. All right, something super easy. Nothing crazy. "You're invited to join Cody for his 9th birthday party." So now you got to do the when, where, why, what, how. So where, time, and then we need RSVP to 508-423-4084. It's my business line. Or I gotta open this up a little bit more. Or info@photobyjeremy.com. You can see how large this is. This doesn't seem like the same. It's not. Do you know why? It's because these little. I don't have the font for the pieces in between. So I can go 508, like the little symbols. 28 days later. 423. 28 days later. I guess I didn't catch that. Probably should have. 28 days later, and then info. 28 days later, and then we'll back up and hit at and .com. Now, that's going to be down on the bottom, but this needs to be shrunk down a little bit. Yeah, I want to bring this in a little bit because, like I said, the bleed edge. I don't want things near the edges. The printer has a template, and it will show you like the edges, the bleed edge, the cut edge, the trim edge, the safe area. I don't use their templates much anymore because I kind of know how they go. And you can write whatever text you want. I'm just kind of apply that. Just kind of messing around. V. Let's move the time. See all those pink lines that they help you align your text and your stuff that you're doing. All right, so where it's going to be at Mind Trek VR, and that is in Woburn. Get the actual address. is the directions? There we go. $34 Cummings Park. All right. That is going to be. I think I would have been prepared. I'm not. Like I said, I'm doing this all on the fly for you guys. 34 Cummings Park Drive, Woburn, Mass. 01801. Did it again. All right. Actually, probably put another space right here. Here we go. Another space right there. Drop this down. There we go. Definitely gonna have to move the time down a little bit, right? And it is going to be back to my text. $12 p.m. to 2. p.m. space, because I'm going to put that other one in there, to 2 p.m. Now I can go back here and add my hyphen symbol there. Backspace, here we go. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And I think that's essentially it. Now it's just moving stuff. 12 to 2. And then moving this. Where is it? It's at Mind Trek VR, 34 Cummings Park. Now, if you remember on the other side of the template, it has that blue color. You're invited to join Cody for his 9th birthday. How about we do celebration? I don't like party. 9th birthday celebration. For his 9th birthday celebration, or how about for his birthday celebration? You're invited to join Cody to celebrate his 9th birthday. We do that. His 9th birthday. Something simple and easy, just like that. Okay? Now I know it looks all kind of wonky because I gotta make sure everything's lined up here, but you know what? It doesn't really need to always be, oh, everything's gotta be in line. Great thing about design is there are rules, design rules, but you know what? Rules are made to be broken. I'm sure there's people cussing at me right now. 12, 34 Cummings Park Drive, 12 to 2. All right. So guess what I'm going to do now? I need that blue tone. Command J. Once I highlighted this, Command J copies it. Drag that bad boy right up here. Look at that! But I don't want this to still affect all the stuff behind it. So I am going to hold down my Option key. I'm going to go in between these two layers. And what this is going to do is it's going to clip it. But you know what? I don't think I want to, no, I don't want to do that yet. So I'm going to unclip it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this text, I'm going to go Shift, go all the way down to this, create its own group. Okay? That group is going to be called, you got it, the back. Invite back text. Actually, I don't even need to write text, just invite back. Now I can take this and clip it to this entire group, and it won't do it to the bottom part. So I go Option, boom. You know what I mean? So if I were to shut off the invite back, this is shut off too because it's clipped to this layer. Okay. Now, if I also wanted to do, if I wanted I'm touching the screen again like you can see me. If I wanted to make some of this pop, if I wanted to do like a stroke around it or whatnot, I can say, let's go to You're Invited, highlight that layer. We're going to start with this one. We can go to FX, and I'm going to go to Stroke. Okay? So the color, don't worry about that yet. The color I think I want to do is a darker blue. Yeah. Could even go like red. What would red look like? Oh, red looks pretty sick. Like a darker red maybe, like right there. That looks pretty cool. And then the size. I don't want it to be overpowering, but that looks pretty cool. I'm gonna click OK. Now instead of going through and doing each one of these, see how it says underneath this layer, there's an FX on this text, and the effect is a stroke. So I am going to hit Control, and I am going to right-click, or Control and click on that, and I'm going to copy layer style. Okay? And now to each one of these pieces, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to Control-click, paste layer style, 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 and then these last few pieces, paste layer style, paste layer style. There we go. See, it makes it pop a lot more, right? Now we can really see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off everything below it. Okay? Reason being is I'm running my action again, which it's only going to do what is visible. So only this is visible. So I'm going to run that action again. I'm going to just play. Let it do its thing. There we go. Nice. So now it kind of blends, right? Yep, I like it. So I can turn all this on too. Actually, I don't even need all that on because these are like flattened versions of all this. So all I really need to do is turn these bad boys off. There we go. So before. Stop it. And after. So that's the front, which is pretty sick looking, I think. And then the back. Simple as pie. And now I'm going to take this. I'm going to go File, Save As, Invite, Back, JPEG, Save. Done. All right, guys. There you have it. A start to finish, without the photo shoot stuff. I apologize again, but start to finish, a birthday invitation, Black Ops kind of SWAT themed, yeah, 5x7 card, and start to finish. I mean, this is what she looks like. There's the front. There's the back. Any questions? Go ahead and comment on this video. Ask the questions. You can leave comments if you liked it, if you disliked it. If you disliked it, let me know what you disliked. I can try to change things. I'm new to making these things. I've been doing composites for years, but I really want to share what I know so that you can really up your photography and get a leg up on all the competition. So if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. Like this, subscribe so you can see more of my stuff. Until then, I'll see you later.